Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Unique Excel. On today's tutorial, I just want to show you guys how I make my vintage shirts. I go to the market, source for fabric like this, and I source for different beautiful fabric design with nice prints because I resell these shirts after making them. So I have to make sure that the print is really nice and people are going to be eager to buy once I post them online. So guys, this is what the shirt looks like when I'm done sewing. So this is an example of the vintage shirt, and it can be unisex too. It's not just for male, though I'm wearing for my male mannequin right now, but it could be for a female too. Can you see how beautiful this shirt looks? So I'm going to be taking you guys through the journey. So guys, make sure you watch this video to the end because video is going to be as explanatory as possible. I'm going to try to explain to you guys step by step such that even a beginner will be able to understand that okay, this is what we are going to do. So at the end of this video, if you enjoyed watching it, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop your comments. Any question you have whatsoever, drop it in the comment section and I'm going to attend to your question. So this is all I need to make my shirt. I need this is the fabric I'm working with in this video. I need my tape roll. I need my button. I'm going to be using this really nice button for the shirt. I need this. This is cloth stay. Cloth stay. That's what they call it if you want to buy it. You see this shiny part. This is the part we are going to glue to the collar part and the front part. I'm going to be showing you everything in the video, but you can get it from people that sell stay. So this stay is like a clothes fabric material. It's usable, and I picked this one because you know we are working with a very light fabric, so the stay has to be as light as the fabric so it doesn't tear when we sew it inside the clothes. So what else do we need? Chalk, your ruler, your pattern master, and your scissors, and we'll be needing our iron for this cutting tutorial. So I forgot to add that the fabric I'm using is 1.5 yard of fabric, and what you're going to do is you're going to be folding these two parts, this part that where they measure the yards from, like where they measure the yards from in the market. This part you're going to join it to the other side, to the end part. So like this, you're going to be folding it into just like this. Can you see what I just did? So I've folded it in two places. This is the right side inside and this is the wrong side of the fabric. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it again. Like, just follow my method. This method is simple, straightforward, no stress, as long as you follow it step by step. So if you fold it again like this, so I folded it again like this, I'm going to be marking out my just a straight line at this beginning part. And normally for my vintage shirts I use about 28 inches at least for the length, because an average guy will wear 27 to 28 inches and I don't want it to be too short for my customer, for my potential customer that might want to buy my shirt. Do you get it? So let's say I want to work with 28 inches of length, like I want to work with a guy with 28 inches length. I'm going to be adding 5 inches extra to this length measurements. So the first thing, you're going to measure your 28 inches here, 28 inches. So with this method we are cutting both the back and front together. You see that I laid it in 4 places, like 1, 2, then I laid it again. So we are cutting the back and front together. So this is the first step I'm doing right now. So 28 inches, which is the actual length, then add extra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches to it. So that makes it 33 inches, yeah? So the 33 inches, I'm just going to connect the lines. Like this, and I'm going to cut it out at this 33 inches point where I'm cutting it out, and boom, this is out already, and this is what we have. Okay, this starting point, I'm also going to cut it the straight line out. All right, so you're just going to have a 33 inches length by whatever the fabric is. That's what you're going to have. So the next step now is you're going to open it back the way we styled it. Open it up like this. Make sure these two is touching. So I'm just folding this part. I'm just folding it back on it. Remember I said we are cutting the front piece and the back piece together. So now I didn't make this one. I didn't make it to the exact limit that this part is. This is because I'm taking this part as the front and this is the back. Remember, there will be button and buttonholes at the front of the shirt, and at the back you don't have to cut or open the back at all. So this is my back. I'm not opening the back at all, and this is my front. This is the open piece. So at this open piece, the distance between this part that there's no opening and this opening piece would be 1.5 inches, and that 1.5 inches is going to serve as where my button and buttonholes will be. So I'm just going to chalk out my 1.5 inches all the way down. So this other part, I like to cut out this part because, as you can see, is not equal, is rough, is, you get. So I have to like cut it out to make it look okay. So I'm just going to chalk my 1.5 inches all the way down. So this is what we have after cutting out the rough edge. So the distance between this part on fold and this opening is just 1.5 inches. So the next thing I want to do now is I'm going to open up this part. I'm going to open up both for this part, because we already know that my back will not have joining, my front will have a opening, and that's what we have here. So this other part will be the sides of the clothes, and the sides will definitely have joining. So I'm going to open up this part. Just open it up like this. I hope you are getting everything I'm doing in this video. I hope it is explanatory. Please let me know in the comment section if this video is explanatory. What should I do better and what should I not? If I'm too fast, please let me know. So after opening up this part, then you can bring this. So after opening up that space, I have this separate. So remember, this part does not have joining, and this is where I called the back. This part that has two openings, that's the front. So there's something you still have to take note of. You see, this fabric has a lettered, like Louis Vuitton letter, LV. Do you get? So the LV, you should not turn it like this. You know, it will not make sense if it's already like this. So you have to be careful when you're working with a lettered fabric, so you don't turn it upside down. So this is how I should lay it. So I'm just going the front part down first, just like this, and I'm going to be putting the back on it. Okay, we have to take note of the letters. Okay, this is right. So I'm placing the back on the front now. So 4 inches lower. The back will be 4 inches lower on the front. So let's measure. Here, what do we have? This is 4 inches. Can you guys see that? From here to here also, can you see it's 4 inches? So good. So now what you're going to do is just measure 4 inches. Mark where your 4 inches is, and here measure 8 inches here, and mark where your 8 inches is. So you're going to connect this line to this line. You're going to connect where you chalked 4 inches to where 8 inches is. That's, I want to be sure this video is clear enough, so I'm just going to zoom it a little bit so as to be sure. So this is the front here, this is the back. The back is lower than the front by 4 inches. 4 inches. And here I measured from this front down by 4 inches, and from this other side I measured 8 inches. From this side where there is button and buttonhole allowance, I measured 4 inches. On this other side I measured 8 inches. So I'm just going to connect this line. This is the shoulder slant. This is the shoulder slant. So I'm just going to cut it out like that. So I already cut out that slant. So the next thing I'll do, so now you know that we made the front 4 inches higher than the back before cutting out the slant. So now obviously the back is longer than the front, and this is what I mean. I don't know, is the video up to that point? Look at this point. This is the front and this is the back, you see. So the back is already 4 inches longer than the front, and that's totally fine. So the next thing I'm going to do now is just to place my front on top of my back. Like this. So just place it on it. So make sure the so you make sure that that's equal length at the down part, but at the upper part the front will be lower than the back. So here, and so now I've laid it equal at the down part, and on this upper part it is lesser by 4 inches. The front is lower than the back. So the next thing you just want to do is this part higher back, the back that is higher, you're just going to fold it on top of about ½ inch to cover the front, and this is where you need your iron. So after folding it about ½ inch to cover your front, see the back is like ½ inch covering the front. So you check it here to make sure it's about ½ inch. So the next thing you're just going to do is just to use your iron to press it, so that you know that so that it doesn't just come up, come down, come up, come down while you're working with it. But if you feel like you can work with it that way, so I'm just going to try to work with it that way too, in case you don't have access to an iron at the moment. So the next thing I want to do now is I just want to measure from here. I'm just going to be taking 9 inches downward. That's for my armhole line. I use 9 inches. It's only if the guy is like wearing extra large or extra large, then I had to it. But for a medium large size, you know, it's a vintage shirt now, so you can just make it 9 inches. But if you want the vintage shirt to be baggy, you can use 9.5, 10 inches, whatever you want. So this is the front. Remember, this is the button and buttonholes allowance. So this is where the back is starting from. Can you say that? So this allowance, button and button. I'm just taking us back so we don't forget what we're doing. So on this chest, on this armhole line or chest line is where I'm going to be taking my round chest measurement. So I'm making it chest 40 inches. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So from this point, you just use your hand to trace the point, or you can use your chalk to chalk it out. This is where the back started from. So this is where the 1.5 inches stops. So that's where your measurement is starting from. From here, you can take your 10 inches. These were my 10 inches, yes. And I'm going to be adding extra 1 inch allowance. You can add 1.5 if you want. So let's say I'm adding extra 1.5 inches allowance, because as a beginner you should add more allowance in case of errors. So whatever you have on this part, you know that plus 1.5 inches, that's, we measured 10 plus 1.5, 11.5 plus 1.5, that's 13 altogether. Can you see? 13 inches. The 13 inches, you're going to put it on this down part, 13 inches here. Oh, sorry, did you see that? So this is the 13 inches. So you're just going to mark like a straight line, because this shirt is for a guy. There's no need for adding shape or whatever. It's also a vintage shirt. There's no need for too much paparazzi. So I'm just going to mark my straight line just like this. So the next thing you do is the back for the shirt. So I'm going to be using back 18 for the back, shoulder to shoulder. That's 18. You have to divide it by 2. That's 9 inches. 9 inches. So I'm just going to mark out. So I'm going to be adding ½ inch sewing allowance. So that's 9.5 inches. So I'm just going to rule my 9.5 inches, rule a straight line upward. So this is why I said you should iron this part first, because you see now it's kind of like opening up. So if you had ironed it, it would have just laid like perfectly well. So this is my armhole. This is where I'm going to make my armhole cuff. This is 9.5 inches, the shoulder line. Remember, we are measuring from here. Please don't make mistake of measuring from here, because the clothes will be too tight if you make the mistake. So just chalk your 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So you are measuring from here to here. Do you get? So that you don't end up wasting the fabric. So now I'm going to be making my armhole cuff, just like to connect to this chest line plus allowance that are already made. So here, just so something like this. Okay, this is not good enough. So something like this. Can you guys see that? So after making your armhole cuff, there's another thing to note. The thing to note is that the front, the armhole for the front, you're going to be taking in like ½ inch inward, so that it doesn't have all this kind of bulky feeling. Like there's a way it's kind of bulky at this place if you don't remove the ½ inch. So how do you do that? You're going to measure from where your front is starting. My front is starting here, is 8 to this chest line is 8. So I'm just measuring 4 inches. That's half of it. So this 4 inches, from that 4 inches, I'm just going to take ½ inches inward. So ½ inches inward, and I'm going to connect the ½ inch to this point, and also connect it to this upper part like this. Do you get? And also connect it to this lower part. So for the back, I'm going to use this first line, and from the front, I'm going to use this second line. So let's fold it back. So what do we have left to do? The only thing we have left to do now is to remove our neckline. So if you're working with neck 16 inches, I just simply take, remember you have to remove your 1.5 inch first, 1.5 here. So I'm just going to take 2.5 by 2.5 by 4 inches from the upper part. So I'm just going to connect the lines. Can you see? So this is like a 4 corner already. I'm so sorry, the camera was moving. So this is from this point, you know, this is 1.5. From the 1.5, from here to here, I measured 2.5. Then from here to here, I measured 4 inches and then connected the line. So you're just going to make like a C curve around it, like a C curve around it. I'm going to do that now. So it's gives something like, so you're just going to cut out like this round, something like C shape. I don't know, the camera is not showing it well, but it's going to be like a C, something like this. Do you get? So that's how you're going to do that. So now we have our more curve, we have this, and this is our down part. The down part, I'm not going to be removing any shape, but if you want, you can, all these shirts that used to have all this kind of curve, so you can make the curve. If you want me to show you how you can do that, I can make that in another video and show you guys. So now the next thing I'll just do is cut, because we are done with the front and back pattern together. So the only pattern we need now is just our hand, that's our sleeve. So take notes, please. When you want to cut the neckline for this your front, you are going to raise it up. You are not cutting this back at the down part with it. It's just these two that you place together for the front. You are cutting like this. Remember, you are not cutting, see, I didn't cut the back part, so it's just the front. So just open it up like this. So can you see this back is still intact? Please, if you make this mistake, you might not be able to use the fabric, or you just use it for like a normal top for a female. So the next thing you want to do is for this part also, you're only cutting just this one piece, not that you're cutting from here, no. So you're just cutting like this. Good. So this is what you're doing. So this is what we have. Can you see the neckline? Can you see the C I'm talking about? I think it's kind of obvious now. Like, do you get that? So the next thing is just to cut this armhole area. So remember I said that for the back, you just cut both for this first line. That first line, just cut both using that first line. And then after cutting both using that, then you are going to open it up, and this front, you're just going to shape only these two fronts out. We're going to shape. Can you see? I didn't shape the back. The back is still the same as that one, but I only shaped the two front panel. See, these are the only ones I shaped out like that. So I just want to make this down part equal. So I'm just going to make it equal. So now we have our back and our front piece. So this is my front and this is my back. So guys, that's what we have. And the next thing we are going to cut now is our sleeve.